So welcome back everyone, Mike here. Today's video is primarily for anybody that buys firewood. You know, people that may not have their own wood lot or may not have the time to cut their own firewood, but they like to burn firewood. This video may also be beneficial for anyone that sells firewood as well. Now, the first thing you got to think about is when you're buying your firewood, if you're expecting it to be ready to burn as soon as you purchase it. And if that is the case, you want that firewood to be dry and ready to burn. Now, there's several different ways to tell if your firewood is ready to burn or not. As a matter of fact, last year I did a video called, I think it was 7 ways to tell if your firewood's ready to burn. I'll put that video right there. But you know, you can, if the bark's falling off of it, if it's cracked and checking, dry firewood is lighter in weight than wet firewood. But all in all, I think the best way to tell if your firewood is ready to burn is with a moisture meter. And that's in that video as well, and how to use it. And remember, if you're using a moisture meter, you want to split the piece of firewood in half and check the center of it, not just the outside of it, because the outside of a piece of wood will be drier than the inside. And you want that moisture content to be below 20%, and you'll have firewood that's ready to burn. So if you've been buying firewood for years off the same supplier and you're happy with the way they do it and you know what you're getting, I'd just keep doing that. But if you're trying to find a new supplier, or you just moved into an area, or you just started burning wood, there's a lot of questions that you want to ask when you call somebody that's selling firewood. So the first thing is, like I said, you want to check and see if the firewood is seasoned. That means if it's dry. And a lot of times you'll see ads that'll say well seasoned, freshly split. That's not dry wood. I mean, it'll be a little bit drier, but if you have firewood poles that have been laying there for a long time, yes, they're going to dry some, but it's not going to dry right until it's split and stacked in a well-ventilated area with lots of sunlight. So don't be tricked into thinking just because the poles have been down for a long time and it was freshly split that it's ready to burn, because it probably won't be. Now, I'm going to talk mostly about the wood that we have in our area here. I'm not very familiar with what they burn out west. We have all hardwoods here. One of my favorite woods is red oak, white oak, cherry. The other thing you want to look at and ask questions about is what type of firewood they're going to be delivering you. Different woods have different BTUs. Now, you know, I think the best wood around here to burn is probably Osage orange, but there's really not a lot of it around here. So primarily red oak is kind of king around here for firewood burning, in my opinion. I also like cherry. It doesn't burn as long and as hot as red oak, but it has a nice aroma to it, and it's a nice fire. So check and ask what type of firewood they're going to be selling you. So once you know whether the firewood that they're selling you is seasoned or not, and what type of firewood it is, you're going to want to ask how much it is per cord. Firewood is measured by the cord. A cord of firewood is 128 cubic feet, and that's stacked. It can be in any type of configuration as long as it equals 128 cubic feet of stacked firewood. Now, I cut all my firewood 16 inches long, so a full cord of firewood would be a stack 4 feet wide, 4 feet high, 8 feet long. So that would be 3 rows of 16-inch in length firewood, 4 feet high, 8 feet long. That would equal 1 full cord. Now, a lot of people sell firewood like by the truckload, and you know, if you're, like I said, if you're using a guy for years and you're happy with what you're getting, that's fine. But you should ask how much it is per cord, and you know, you may want a half cord or a third of a cord, which is what we call a face cord around here. Because you know, if someone buy the truckload, what's that even mean? First of all, how big is your truck? You know, that's the first question I would ask. And secondly, when they load that truck, is the firewood split and stacked in the truck, or is it just thrown in there loose? Because there's a huge difference in quantity there. I like to kind of stick with by the cord, whether it's a third of a cord, half of a cord, full cord. That way everybody's happy. You know exactly what to expect, and you know exactly what you're going to get. I think that's the best way to do it. So kind of be a little bit leery of anybody selling by the truckload. It may be fine, you know, if you're happy with it and it's a good amount of wood and good quality and dry, but you should really know how much it is. I mean, everything you buy almost is measured, you know, one way or another. You know, you buy limestone by the ton, you buy gasoline by the gallon, you know, just a truckload of wood. You don't know what you're getting. So try to figure out and ask the question how much it is per cord, and then go from there. So for demonstration purposes, we're going to pretend this little dump trailer is a truck. So when somebody says they're going to sell you a truckload of firewood, you're going to ask them, is it stacked in the truck or is it just tossed in the truck? Because there's going to be a huge difference. What we will do, we will stack this up and measure it, then we'll reload the trailer, just tossing it in there, and then stack it up and measure it as well, and you'll see the difference between just tossing it in the pickup truck or if it is stacked in the pickup truck. Well, there you have it. The firewood was stacked in a dump trailer, and it equals exactly 1/3 of a cord, which is 42.66 cubic feet of firewood. That is a stack 8 feet long, 4 feet high, and the pieces are 16 inches long. 1/3 of a cord. Now I'm just going to go up and toss a load of firewood into the dump trailer. We'll stack it and see what we have. So here we have a full trailer load that was just tossed in the trailer. I'm going to stack this one up now, and we'll measure it and compare it to the first load, which was stacked nice and tight in the dump trailer. So this stack is 3 feet high, 8 feet long. So when it was just tossed in the trailer, you got 25% less firewood in the trailer than you do when you stack it. So in review, let me say this. If you have somebody that you've been buying firewood off of for years and you're happy with their service, you're happy with the wood and the price that they sell it for, I'd just stick with that. If you are buying firewood for the first time though, there's several questions that you want to ask. You know, first of all, is the wood dry? Unless you buy it at least a year in advance, you're going to want dry firewood. And like I said at the beginning of this video, I know of at least 7 different ways to determine whether wood is dry or not. The best way is to use a moisture meter, and I'll put a link to that video on how to tell if your firewood's dry in the description. So you want to find out if the wood's dry. Second thing you want to do is find out what kind of firewood that they're selling you. You know, around here, red oak's kind of king. Cherries doesn't burn as hot, but a lot of people like cherry. Other parts of the country, I'm not sure what they burn. We burn all hardwoods around here. We're very fortunate. We've got woods everywhere. So that's the second thing. What kind of wood are they selling you? The third thing is all about the quantity of firewood. A lot of people try selling it by the truckload. If they do that, you know, that's okay if you're comfortable with it, but you want to ask that question. Is the wood, you know, stacked in the truck? Is it thrown in there loose? you know, try to get a price per cord of wood. Cord of wood, like I said, is 128 cubic feet no matter how you stack it. So keep that in mind. Try to get them to give you a price per cord. That way, if you're talking to different suppliers, you can compare apples to apples. So anyway, I hope this gives you a little bit of insight on buying firewood if it's your first time. Like I always say, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like button, click subscribe, and share them with your friends. Thanks.